there seems to be a war against fear, and it's like with fear and against fear. And in this video, I want to just share a few things that have been popping out for me today and in this last week as I'm preparing to do a work talk on fear, on facing your fear, and taking a deeper look at how you are relating with your fear. How is the beliefs, the stories, the ideas that you have about fear. So like the first part that comes is this part about the war, the terror, and these mechanics that the systems that media uses to create fear, to induce fear, to make us afraid of being where we are, either by presenting scarcity or this threat of danger that something is going to happen, nuclear war, machine guns, grenades, stuff like that. Just like even the word of it has these energetics that induce this state inside a human being with a heart that creates a sensation. And then, like, this way of creating fear has been used to manipulate or to control, like, how people go, how, like a way of manipulating people in masses. And then there is this other part where I've seen people in some circles, and even without even going so far myself, I used to carry these beliefs and stories about fear. And I believed in my previous map of fear before I started working more consciously with my feelings and emotions, that fear was the opposite of love. That whenever I was feeling fear, there was something wrong. I was not in vibration with love. I was not in a space of possibility. That I was somehow I was against life, or I was a coward, or I was weak, and I was falling a victim or prey of something. And in this way, I kind of like push fear away. I never did consciously work with it. And so it's like so immense. Even the word fear, as I'm writing it, I just noticed that the resistance that comes inside of me about going into a space where fear is spoken about consciously, where fear is in the space, where fear is something that we are talking about. And so what happens with this is that fears is, or the feeling of fear, which fear is an undeniable human experience, an undeniable part of the emotional body, which is located in the heart center. There is it is not possible. I mean, it's like when people say that they don't feel fear. I'm wondering, they're either what are they loving enough? Do they care enough about the things that they are caring about? And I have this question of, okay, people feel fear. If you're a human with a heart, you feel fear. And this is an undeniable territory of the human heart. Whether it is fear of losing something, or you fear of doing something new, trying something new, or your fear of taking a risk with something. And then, this territory is a valuable space to learn how to navigate and work with it together. And what I've been learning in the last 3-4 years of working more consciously with my feelings is that this is a massive territory that I have been neglecting, that I have been not working with it at its full potential. And even now, I'm still learning how to breathe, feel the wave of fear, and not run away from it, or not have to hide or cover it up with something else, but just be in it. And from this perspective, that fear is one of the territories in your emotional body, is that is absolutely neutral. Fear is not good or bad. It's just absolutely neutral. So from here, you can start using it as a resource for informing you, for being in service of the things that you want to create, the things that you love. And it's very different relationship than when I'm avoiding it and ignoring it. And I'm still so much in the question of, like, how does it really work? How much of my fear am I really feeling? And also this part, like, what is my worst fear? What is the fear, what I'm most afraid of, that I'm not even facing, I'm not even like going into it? what is it, what isn't your worst fear, that if you were to become alive, if you were to become more authentic, more fully you, if you were to take a stand for like full on for the things that you care about, what will be the consequences? So this is the space that I'm opening up, and that I see that with the anti-fear mentality, or memes, these memes that fear is bad, or fear is negative, or fear is the opposite of love, or love above fear. These are all memes inside that we carry inside, that kind of like put a lens on top of our reality, and then we filter out stuff from there. We filter out life through there. Fear is bad. Then boom, whenever you feel fear, then that there is a reaction to that, and what that creates is a lock-in mechanism. It locks in your emotional body in a certain position where you can totally be manipulated, easily manipulated, especially with this thing of good and evil, good and bad, this dichotomy. Because then, if you're feeling fear, there is something wrong with you. So it locks in the mechanism in a way that you're either in joy, you're like, okay, like I'm feeling joy, I'm good. Because joy is the good feeling, and then fear is below, is control. I got it under control, I'm fine. And then it switches on to the other side, because it needs that movement for being alive. And then it switches to the other side, where your fear is just taking over, and you might have panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and it's just like that. It's just too much. The fear is too much, and it's taking over, and it's impossible to do anything other than like being locked into that position. So it has those two polarities. Like these memes, they create that by having that mechanism that says fear is good, or fear is bad. It creates that mechanism, or even like giving like fear is more than I can handle, something like that. And then it creates that bipolarity. So then, by examining those memes, and actually taking off that goggles, that perspective, that idea, that belief, taking them off even temporarily, you can just connect with the experience of fear, at the visceral level, the experiential level, where you just letting the fear be in your body, letting the fear be an experience that is neither good or bad, or something that you need to change or avoid or deny or repress, and you just let it be there, and just let yourself, let your body experience this experience without having to have the goggles and manipulate yourself and control yourself to be anything different, to do anything else. You put them on the side, you allow yourself to feel this, and what this creates is that it starts shifting and creating more freedom of movement of that, of your emotional body, where your emotional body is not locked into these two states of joy, like I'm in joy, or I'm in like deep, like anxiety, craziness, like I'm just like terrified. I'm terrified, or I'm in joy. And it starts allowing your emotional body to move more freely. And this is one of the things that this is my experience from what I've experienced, that I I'm finding that I don't get locked in that position where I used to get locked in before, where like fear is bad. I am controlled by my fear, and fear has a hold of me. But I can there is a it's more like freedom of movement inside of there. And how do this all start by asking questions, by wondering, like examining these things, these memes, these beliefs. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, and really this possibility of that, it's a journey to discover and learn how to navigate fear in a way that is not good or bad. Because then, by you learning how to hold space for your own fear, by learning how to be with your own fear, and say like, I feel scared, like being totally normal with saying I feel scared about the situation that is happening in the world. I feel scared that there is a high political dichotomy or polarization right now of people, with all the political talk right now in North America, and actually all over the world. So you can let your fear has information, very valuable information for you, information and energy that when you get it, when you feel it, is the like the intelligence of your heart. So your heart has an intelligence in itself, and when you allow this intelligence to come through, say welcome fear, hello fear, and what do you have for me? And then it has this information. This is the information that it's carrying. So you get the information, you get the energy part of it to take action, and then it goes away. It moves. It changes into something else. And so learning how to like be with your fear, navigate this fear, it has immense value for your life and for the things that you want to create, especially whatever, if it's like living in community or building a project with a team or starting a new relationship or taking starting a new project, a new jumping into a new adventure. The learning how to navigate your fear creates this foundation where that you are that allows you to jump into the unknown, jump into the mystery of life, be okay with not knowing, be okay with feeling nervous or scared and not have the answer, and to navigate more consciously using the intelligence of your heart. So this is navigating inner navigating of your feelings. So this is something that's interesting to you. I'm going to be holding a work talk next week on Monday, April 28th. If you want to join, I'll leave the link below, and I hope to see you there. And I would love to hear in the comments, if you want to share in the comments, what are the beliefs, like what is the current structures that you have about your fear? What are the current, how do you relate to your fear right now? How do you navigate fear? What are some of the questions that you have about fear? So you share that in the comments and let me know, and I hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and until next time.